Well, welcome back to Movie Mogul 101. I'm your host, Walt Whitmore, and I thank you for joining us here for episode 5. I have entitled this Crossing the Threshold. Episode 5, this matters a whole lot to me. Not because it's flashy, not because it's perfect, but because it exists. Episode 5 represents something that is surprisingly elusive within that of the human psyche, and that is continuation. Most people can start a thing. However, very few people continue to keep that thing going. And this episode marks the moment where Movie Mogul 101 crosses the threshold. I want to be totally honest with you in terms of how this thing started. You see, my original intention was to start or launch Movie Mogul 101 November 19th, 2025. It didn't happen. I didn't panic though. I didn't beat myself up. I just told myself something that sounded real reasonable. I'll do it tomorrow. And that's when I learned something important. The greatest tool of procrastination is not fear, it's tomorrow. You see, tomorrow, it sounds reasonable. It sounds mature. Tomorrow sounds like you got a plan. But tomorrow is where good intentions go to lay down and die. It feels responsible, yet it really kills our momentum. Shortly after missing that date, one of my favorite podcasters, Don Martell, released a video. And in the video, he challenged people. If you claim to want to do and create something new, go ahead and make a public declaration. Well, that's exactly what I did. December 1st, I posted on Facebook that I would launch Movie Mogul 101 on January 1. Yeah, to some people, it sounds like a New Year's resolution. But for me, it wasn't that. What it was a constraint. It was the proverbial line in the sand. And I crossed it. After that declaration, I did what a lot of people do. I went and got busy. I bought the gear. I carved out space down here in my man cave. I sketched out the first 4 episodes. It all felt productive. But here's the truth. Preparation always feels like progress until the camera comes on. You see, proof requires exposure. When the new year rang in, I began recording episode 1. I didn't launch it January 1st. Instead, the next day, I launched January 2nd. I make no excuses for that. But what I did realize was something real deep, and that is disruption always follows your intentions. Every time you commit to something meaningful, something's going to show up to distract you, discourage you, or just flat out, delay you. If you examine your life and you're honest about it, you'll recognize that pattern almost everywhere. And there's a real reason why that thing exists. But this is not the episode to explore that. What matters here and today is I persevered. When I finally launched on January 2nd, I celebrated the moment. And I celebrate this one too. Because, while many people have already abandoned those New Year resolutions, they've abandoned the diets, they've quit the workouts, or they've drifted back into some of those old habits, I'm still here. Some people can hold themselves accountable without help. In certain areas, I can too, but in others, not so much. I need something a little stronger. And for me, that accountability is the camera. The camera holds me accountable just like the camera holds an actor accountable. An actor is responsible and accountable to the camera to give the very best performance. And so must I, in terms of I must deliver the work to the camera. The camera doesn't cheer. The camera doesn't comfort you. All the camera does is record. And this is where I tie in last week's conversation about that of the teaser and the work that we're going to put forth. Accountability doesn't mean showing everything. Okay? You see, discipline sometimes means actually showing less. I explained the 4-beat teaser last week, and we talked about that of normalcy, pressure, the moral fracture, and of course, withholding. That same discipline applies right here. Just because I can show something doesn't mean that it belongs on the screen. Restraint is not hesitation. It's really control. AI plays a role in this process, but let me make it clear. AI doesn't replace it. AI, it's going to help, certainly with maintaining consistency, exploring the escalation of this process, and certainly testing the atmosphere. But AI will never be allowed to decide the moment, resolve tension, and it certainly cannot explain the story. I'm the creator. I'm the creative. AI doesn't let me off the hook. AI simply makes my decisions visible. You see, most people don't fail at getting started. They fail at continuing. Motivation fades, momentum disintegrates into that of inertia. Episode 5 exists because I've crossed the threshold where it's real easy to stop. I'm still going. Now, moving forward, on the next episode of Movie Mogul 101, I will begin to share the resources that I'm using, to understand and to construct the teaser. The online learning programs that I've been utilizing, I'm going to share that, as well as the YouTube breakdowns. And of course, I'll talk about, the great coursework that I have participated in on the online learning platform, Screenwriting U. If you want to follow along, maybe you're creating your own teaser, or you've embarked upon your own journey of that of a filmmaker, those resources will be available in the upcoming descriptions. Let me make it perfectly clear. I have no affiliate agreements, no Patreon. There is no financial incentive tied to what I'm doing here and the platforms that I'm using and may very well recommend. If that ever changes, I'm going to certainly let you know. But in the meantime, I celebrate today, episode 5, Crossing the Threshold. I'm Walt Whitmore. This is Movie Mogul 101.